Hi, and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Mod Matthe, and as part of our work with big cats, this week we're focusing on tigers in our podcast. Tiger numbers have been steadily declining for decades, and it's estimated their numbers have dropped around 97% since 1900. So today we're joined by Joseph, who is a WWF's tiger expert.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'll be happy to interact with you and answer any questions you might have.
Brilliant. Well, Joseph, could you tell me a bit more about yourself for the listeners of our podcast?
I work with WWF's Global Initiative for Tigers, known as the Tigers Alive Initiative.
Right.
And I'm principally a biologist trained in research methods and on the tiger's behavior and ecology. And I work within the team largely at advising on how tigers can be recovered within the principal tiger landscapes present in the different tiger range countries. We have 13 different tiger range countries in Asia. So right. I coordinate the efforts of WWF in these countries, yeah.
Okay, so what are tiger range countries? What does that phrase mean?
The tiger range countries are 13 countries in which tigers are found. These include Russia, China, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Sumatra.
Right.
So these make up the 13 tiger range countries where tigers are found today. They were found much more earlier. They had a much wider range, but today they're restricted to just these 13 tiger range countries. Yeah.
Right. So over time, with the threat to their ecology, their range has been shrunk over time. Yeah.
That's right. Not just their range, but as you mentioned, the tiger numbers have also drastically reduced. There's thought to have been 100,000 tigers 100 years before.
Right.
Today there are less than 3,500 tigers, and they are just restricted to these 13 tiger range countries. Whereas earlier the range was also much larger, and there's been almost a 93% reduction in their range as well. Right. So yes, definitely the tiger is extremely threatened today.
Yeah. So what do tigers eat?
Well, tigers principally eat large ungulates. Ungulates meaning hoofed animals. These fall within the category of deer and wild pigs and bovids, which include wild cattle. So these could include animals such as the spotted deer and the sambar deer in India. These could include other animals such as roe deer and red deer and wild boar in the Russian Far East. They could include animals such as tapirs and smaller deer such as muntjacs in Southeast Asia. So it's largely deer and wild pigs and wild cattle that tigers feed on.
Right, okay. So what are the biggest threats to tigers now? Why are they quite so threatened?
I would say the principal threat is poaching. There's still a great demand for almost every part of the tiger in traditional medicine. It's believed that every part has some use, and because of which a tiger that is killed, and especially from the wild, finds use within these traditional markets and for various uses. So you might be surprised that there's tiger wine, there's stuff made of tiger whiskers, tiger bones. That comes into use largely within the tiger range countries, but even outside. And as you know, must be knowing that illegal wildlife trade is a huge business. Yeah. Apart from narcotics and illegal arms. So there's a definite underground market for wildlife products and especially for tiger products. So poaching is a big threat, but apart from poaching, habitat destruction and habitat loss, because of conversion of tiger habitats to agriculture due to development, that Asia is developing at a very fast pace, and when that happens, sometimes tiger habitats are lost and compromised. So these are two big threats to tigers currently.
Do individual tigers have naturally a large range, so man's agricultural efforts interfere with them?
Yeah, the tiger by its very virtue at the top of the food chain, and because of its biological needs, requires a large area to be able to sustain its needs. So because, for example, a single tiger in let's say India would need more than 150 square kilometers if it's a male tiger, sometimes as much as 300 square kilometers for just one tiger.
Right.
Which means this is a large area in which it needs a certain amount of prey that it needs to eat, mate with a certain number of females, and those females again would need a certain large area to raise their cubs.
Yeah.
So by virtue of these needs, tigers need large home ranges, and sometimes these are in conflict with people because they happen to be some of the best productive habitats. Habitats that support very good prey are also happen to be habitats that are very good for agriculture. So sometimes these are in conflict. Yeah.
So why are tigers important?
Well, we clearly think tigers are important because in several surveys that have been done in choosing what people thought were their most favorite animal, the tigers came out first in several such surveys. So clearly the tiger is a charismatic animal that draws people's attention for various reasons, for its mystery, for its power, for the fact that it's right on top of the food chain. So clearly in the human psyche, the tiger is valuable. But looking at it scientifically, there are other reasons. Being on top of the food chain, they control the prey that are found in a certain habitat, because of which the balance is kept in the ecosystem. We talked about the fact that tigers need a large area to sustain themselves. And because of this, when we conserve a tiger, we are able to conserve much more than just tigers. We're able to conserve several other smaller cats that are found within its range, the prey community, and several other animals which fall under the umbrella of tiger conservation. So by the fact that tigers are an umbrella species and a charismatic species that we value, what we call a flagship species, we are able to conserve far more than just tigers, and because of all these reasons, tigers are extremely valuable.
So they're almost totemic creatures that allow you to do lots of other work while saving them directly.
That's right. In Asia, they are actually worshipped in several communities and several countries. So clearly the tiger is valued more than just a popular animal. And by cashing in on that value, we are able to conserve tigers. Besides scientific reasons, there are enough scientific reasons to suggest that the tiger is a very important animal to conserve. But there's much more than that which works in the favor of tiger conservation, which benefits other animals as well.
So could you tell us a bit more about what WWF are currently doing to save tigers?
Well, WWF works in all the principally important landscapes that have been identified for tigers. And as you might know, WWF also is pushing the effort towards what is known as teen to two, or doubling the tigers' numbers, because as we talked, tiger numbers have come down substantially in the past few years. So WWF works with pushing the tiger range countries to double the number of tigers, and works within these principal landscapes and several aspects, in addressing conflict, working with communities to help the protection of these sites along with the governments. So in all the different aspects that you can think of in tiger conservation, WWF has been involved in all these principal landscapes within these 13 tiger range countries.
So why the focus on doubling and not saving as a concept?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. As we talked, the tiger numbers have drastically declined in the last few years, and we know that from 100,000 tigers, we're down to 3,200 odd tigers. So clearly, if you go with business as usual, we're not going to conserve the tigers. It's clearly a downward trend. So in 2010, in what is known as the St. Petersburg Summit, these different tiger range countries met and decided that they will need a very ambitious goal if we're going to not only stop the decline of tiger numbers, but if the tiger is to have any chance, we will need to look at a target that is beyond business as usual.
So to reverse the decline, not just stop it.
That's right. So to reverse that decline, we set a very ambitious target, that is to double the number of tigers. When I say we, the tiger range countries set it, and WWF essentially supports that goal of doubling tigers.
So is the plan that all tiger countries need to double their tiger numbers, or is it more complicated than that?
The goal is a global goal. So while each country need not double, the final goal would be to double. So certain countries will not be able to double because of virtue of their biological potential, their social scenario, their political will. But the global goal will be to double. So each country need not double, but the final goal will be to double.
Okay. And I've heard 2022 mentioned as a goal. And so do you expect to save or to manage to double to 6,000 tigers by 2022? Is that an achievable goal for WWF?
Yeah. So this the 2022 that is put as a target year is because in 2010, which was the last Chinese year of the tiger, the decision was taken among these different tiger range countries,
Right.
that by the next year of the tiger, which is in 2022, they will aim to double the number of tigers. So yes, the idea is to double the number of tigers by 2022. Is it possible? You are asking. Yes, it is possible scientifically, has been looked at by various scientists, that this goal is very much achievable. But whether we will be able to get there will depend on what kind of political will these tiger range countries have. So yes, the target is very much achievable in theory, but it will depend on how much the different tiger range countries are willing to invest in terms of money and political will for us to be able to get there.
And the use of the year of the tiger, I suppose, means something to the tiger range countries as well.
Well, it was originally the Chinese year of the tiger, which comes every 12 years. But it was thought to be a good enough target year to be able to look at this ambitious goal. So it does mean something for all the different tiger range countries, because that is going to be the year in which they are hoping to double tiger numbers. Yeah.
I happen to be born in the year of the tiger as well.
Oh, so that's great. I mean, so that's a very significant year for you, and maybe that's why you're contributing towards its efforts.
Yeah. So what's WWF's role going to be as part of this effort then?
Well, WWF has been working with these range countries that have committed to double the number of tigers, and have been pushing the political momentum towards this and ensuring that it is kept up. As I said, besides pushing the range countries towards this goal, we work in all the principally important tiger landscapes in every aspect of tiger conservation. Besides working with the managers on aspects such as protection, we also work with communities on how they can be involved towards this goal.
Yeah.
Asia is developing at a very quick pace in terms of the human population, in terms of development. So we look at how all of this can be still integrated into people's well-being without compromising on the tiger's future. So we are very much working with the range governments on all these aspects towards tiger recovery and towards T/2.
And what have been the successes so far?
Well, there have been some recent positive developments that indicate that we are moving towards this target. Some of the big countries, so as to say among these 12 countries, as far as tiger numbers are concerned, such as India, Russia, Nepal, in the recent tiger surveys have shown an increase in tiger numbers. So that is something that is positive news.
Yeah.
In the last estimation in India, there were the estimate was over 2,000 tigers. The earlier estimate was about 1,700, and the one before that was about 1,400.
Right.
So certainly some things are happening right, and tiger numbers are increasing. In Nepal, they've recorded over a 50% increase. So that is very good news. As well as they've claimed 2 years where they've had zero poaching. So that's something that's encouraging as well, and hopefully they'll be able to sustain it. Russia has declared over 500 tigers. The last count was 540 tigers. So clearly, in many aspects where we are engaging in tiger conservation is working, and tiger numbers are increasing. So as we hit the mid-year, which is in 2016, there are successes that we can talk about and be proud about. Yeah.
Brilliant. So you're talking to us from India today. And you've said India's had really great success already. How has India been so successful in their conservation efforts?
Well, I would say one factor has been a very strong political will, because India today has over 50 tiger reserves. These tiger reserves are principally where tigers are found in the protected areas. Yeah. Tiger reserves were actually started out by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the 1970s. Yeah. And it was just started out with 9 odd reserves, and today there are over 50 reserves. Even today, when tigers have decreased in some sites, the Prime Minister in recent times has been involved, and those sites where tigers were lost were quickly recovered, showing that India is very keen on quick recovery of tiger numbers. Yeah. So one thing is political will. Second, I would say is that there is, besides all the efforts taken towards protection in India, there is a certain social fabric that does, tremendously encourage tiger conservation.
Right.
This is an aspect that has not been often discussed. But, a large part of India is vegetarian. A large part of India within the tiger landscape shows immense tolerance for tigers.
Yeah.
Many a time when tigers come into conflict with people, with cattle, with wildlife, still those tigers are tolerated within the landscape. There are several tigers breeding outside tiger reserves in India. It's thought that as much as 1/4 of the tiger population may be outside these tiger reserves. So clearly these are animals that are tolerated by people, often in very close proximity to their homes, even at the cost of the fact that they might come into conflict. Many countries would not allow it because of fear of the tigers being there.
Yeah.
And also there is in many countries a large amount of demand for wild meat, which leads to depletion of the tiger's prey. There's not so much of that in India.
Not so much of a case in India.
Along with the tolerance for these wild beasts. So all these factors have ensured that tiger numbers have increased and are doing well in India. In fact, India has more than 70% of today's the tigers in the world. So clearly there's something that's happening right in India.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what's the next stage for preservation efforts then for the tiger?
Well, like we said, we're looking at a very ambitious goal of 10 to 2, where we're thinking of not just saving or preserving tigers, but trying to recover an increase in double tiger numbers. So clearly we cannot just relax as earlier, or we cannot go as per earlier efforts. Along with that, we see that the human population in India and in many Asian countries will only increase. Development will only increase. There's going to be roads, railway lines, mining projects within tiger landscapes. So all of these are going to be challenges because we cannot say no to these. People need to develop. So the future is going to look at how, as these developments and human population increases, still tiger numbers can be conserved within these sites. Additionally, with this ambitious goal of trying to increase tiger numbers, we met with an even bigger challenge. So while it is shown that it is still scientifically possible to achieve that goal of doubling numbers, we will need to take people's needs very much into consideration, and tiger conservation will no longer be the realm of just tiger conservationists, but will need to feature in all much bigger plans in the development plans, and it needs to be mainstreamed if tigers hold any chance in the future.
You need to really consider how we manage to cohabit.
That's right. It's going to be a future for both tigers and people together. We cannot look at it in isolation anymore.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Joseph, for joining us.
Thank you.
So obviously, over these couple of weeks, we're supporting WWF and their Big Cats effort. Our players who might be listening, you can donate to the charity in-game using RuneScape bonds and help Joseph in his work to conserve the tiger. Thanks very much, Joseph. And now we're going to have a chat with the developer who's been working on the Big Cats project for RuneScape. So now I'm back on the sofas with Mod Stu. Hi, Mod Stu.
Hello.
So tell us more about the in-game WWF event.
So this will be a month-long event. It started last week, where we were asking questions about jaguars.
Yeah.
Now it's Tiger Day on Wednesday.
It is Tiger Day, yeah.
And we will be asking questions about tigers. The purpose of the event is to raise awareness of big cats.
Okay, so where will the event take place in RuneScape?
So we've added a conservationist NPC near the Berthorpe lodestone. You'll be able to find him very easily. He's standing on a podium. He's surrounded by some adorable big cat cubs. And you can talk to him to start the event.
Brilliant. So are there any player or item requirements to take part?
There are no requirements. Free-to-play can play this as well.
So what new features have been added to the game to support WWF?
So we're taking over the drop for the duration of this event.
Oh, the drop's brilliant. I love the drop.
Yeah, so we kind of made a variant version of it. The drop Big Cats edition, as it were. And you can talk to the conservationist on the hour and on the half hour to go to this alternate version of the drop. If there's a game open on your world, then you'll go there and join in with the people there. But this is also soloable if there's nobody else around.
Right, okay.
And instead of the random questions that the drop usually asks, there'll be a series of linear questions of increasing difficulty on the subject of big cats and their endangerment.
Okay. And what awards can you receive from this new drop then?
So for each question that you answer correctly, you'll receive a point that you can use in the Conservationist Sanctuary to unlock various rewards. There are 3 feline-themed titles, and there are companion cubs that use the companion pet interface to let you override your familiars. And you can also use a Beast of Burden pouch on any of those cubs to give them the Beast of Burden ability of a legendary pet.
That's amazing.
There are 4 cubs available: a lion, tiger, jaguar, and snow leopard.
Right, okay. And I hear players can donate bonds as well to help with the efforts.
Yes, the lion cub you can unlock by donating 1 bond, and the snow leopard by donating 5 bonds. You donate bonds by talking to the conservationist, and he will give you a gift box in return that you can open for 7 treasure hunter keys to get back some of the return on your investment.
So that's brilliant. So our players will be able to go in-game, play the drop, earn these companions, and also help WWF at the same time.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much, Mod Stu. And now to the Tigers. Bye.
Bye.